All right, good morning. We're pressing this button again. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, doing too much. Day two of doing too much. I got to figure out what's going on so that we can get started. But give me a moment while I check to make sure that we are landing somewhere because we just had to restart again. Let me see. Okay, we look like we're started. Give me a second.
Go now to dryerbuzz.com and follow at dryerbuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.
All right, I wanted to get that in there just so I can catch my breath, take a break. And I don't have any lemonade. Yo, I'm telling you, getting out of bed these last couple of broadcasts has been absolutely difficult. First of all, one, I'm not getting out of bed. Why? Because I slept on the couch. I fell asleep on the freaking couch. And you know what that meant? I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I actually didn't wake up on the wrong side. Well, I woke up, no, other matters woke me up. But then I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just get refreshed. I done fell asleep here in my clothes, trying to binge on this TV show. And the dog, he mad because if I don't go to bed, he don't go to bed. Well, sometimes he does get up and leave me in there. But apparently, I guess last night, I don't know. We're just having one of those moments. I'm actually recording this on a weekend morning, so it's the house is like, nothing is where I want it, when I want it, and I couldn't even do the broadcast when I wanted. But let me just say good morning to everybody. And some of you may be catching this because it is the weekend, and let me encourage you to do me a favor, and that is hit the share button, like button, subscribe, and all that other stuff. This is my first thoughts of the morning, where prior to this, I've probably only had a few quiet, meditative moments, and try to come up with or listen for. I try to listen for the ordinance of today. How is this day anointed? How is this day appointed to me? Because I woke up with the breath of life and I saw the sun trying to come through yonder window. And it's the weekend and there's a lot of you out already doing some things. I normally will stay in on a Saturday, but I'm kind of trying to get a life. Mama got to have a life too. And apparently all my offsprings have grown up and found one. And I'm like, now I got to get a life, a different life, y'all. And last night, I nudged myself, I drug myself off the couch and got dressed and went back out to a networking event. One, I told you guys, and I tell you guys all the time, I live in a community that is so productive, conducive. I don't even have a pen to write with. Y'all, this is a shame. Shameful more. Let's go get some lemonade and something to write with. Because I got journals all over the house. And as a matter of fact, my pen is right here in my purse. Because I took a journal with me to the networking last night, which is something I don't normally do. But I'm like, you know what? I'm about that journal life right now. And I need to. And I'm glad I took it because I did need to write some things down. Because while I went there to network, I was invited to be the next speaker, the next presenter. And so, and not only that, I am, uh, hold on, I'm trying to grab their glass to get some lemonade. I'm also working with an organization that next weekend will be handing out their scholarships. So I had to get caught up on that last night as well. And that's also the day that Michelle Obama's in town. So that meant you got to go home and really organize. You really got to get yourself together. And that's just usually what happens. Remember we talked about proximity on the last couple of ones? Yeah, y'all heard me pour lemonade. On the last couple of broadcasts or how to get out of bed, we got out of bed with the concept of, I'm walking past the dryer. We got out of bed thinking about our proximity. And so last night I was like, well, you know what? It's that season. It's a season of networking. It's a season of us getting out there, volunteering, getting in our community. It's funding season. It's pitching season. It's conference season. It's all of those things. All those things. Everybody is coming out of hibernation if they have, like, I feel like I've been hibernating, right? Coming through the winter. You don't do as much in the winter. Usually in the winter, you buckle down and you working really hard and you have all these grand plan, grand scheme of things. And then, you start to feel a little freer and you're getting out there. And so I said, well, you know what? If not today, when? If not today, when? You just got it. It's time to do it. So yesterday was First Friday. And in my neighborhood, in my community, like I said, really conducive to entrepreneurs. They have a First Friday event, and it's usually where a group of business people just kind of come together. It's, an association. And last night they had three of the those who have travel businesses. They gave three different presentations, and basically it was a skill in, even though you might do the same as somebody else, how to come into the game, focusing, finding your lane. So while we heard from three different travel people, neither of them said the same thing. It was really literally three different presentations on how they acquire their customers, especially in an arena that you might think is saturated. But they answered a lot of questions, because a lot of us don't think about, now everybody wants to go online and make their own travel, this, that, and the other. But I love the fact that they answer the question, because the biggest question I have, even if you're just getting ready to arrange a flight or rent a car or different things like that, you can just hand it off to a travel agent. And a lot of us think, oh, it's going to cost. Well, you're not going to pay for that. They get their incentives and commissions and so forth. And not only that, just the house. I'm all about that hassle free. Guess what? You need to delegate some of that stuff anyway. You need to delegate. Because I know I just started looking into cruises. I got a high school group that's going part reunion on a cruise. And I'm like, oh man, that's the time that they're going is usually a busy time for me. And I'm like, can I squeeze in a couple days? And I'm like, and while I'm trying to, because I've already like looked at what I want to do my summer, while I'm trying to rearrange some things, it's like these deadlines are coming up. And I'm like, wow, I really may not be able to go, because I had other things that I had already planned this summer, and not to mention financially, right? But it's like, it seems like an awesome and amazing trip. And I'm like, man, would like to experience it with kids, with not kids, but people that I grew up with, right? And I'm like, oh wow, that would just be awesome. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. But there's so much on the calendar as I throw myself back out there, that I want to do. I'm really waiting to hear. I hate to book it, because I'm really waiting to hear on another opportunity that I pitched for. And I'm like, man, if I pay for this cruise and then that comes through. Now, of course, I can insure, learning last night, I can insure it in case I needed to cancel or move. I don't know why this thing is doing. I bet you I turned something off. Anyway, so that's just something to think. I really had a great time. It took me through all those different steps that we talk about on here, like going to my confidence corner, like getting ready. Like I came home and I had to go to a couple places yesterday, so I had to come home. Right, I was right in front of rush hour traffic, which means I was hauling behind. I was hauling ass. I'm sorry, to get in front of rush hour traffic. So when you get home, you got to kind of like decompress. And before I knew it, it was already time for the event. And I'm like, and I immediately started trying to talk myself out of it. Like, oh, you really don't need to go. And I'm like, girl, get back up. Get back up, head right on back out that door. You rested, go to your confidence corner, grab some. My daughter, she said to me, did you really just change from black and white to black and white? I'm like, honey, that's the only thing in the confidence corner. So I had put on this nice little summer outfit to go and run my errands. And so I came back, I was like, oh, I probably need to put on, because I think it's business casual, right? I said, well, let me just grab a top. So then when I grabbed the top, it didn't match the pants. Next thing you know, I'm like, okay, what am I going to wear? And I literally was trying to give myself 5 minutes to do this, to go right back out the door. And so I grabbed something. Remember, the motive was confidence, right? Because I want to go. The one thing especially if you're pushing yourself to do something, you want to be comfortable. You don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want to be tugging at this and tugging at that, or something that's just going to take you out of your zone. I'm like, listen, I need to go in there with a level of confidence. One, I haven't been in a while. I'm going to see people I haven't seen in a while. And I want to represent myself well. And apparently I represented myself very well, because I got this whisper in the ear. You haven't presented in a while. Would you like to present next month? Be our presenter. Yes. You know me. I'm that yes person, right? And so I said yes. And so now I have to like figure out a talk. And you know what? I don't have to even figure out a talk. I have several different talks that I go through and I present to them. I was like, well, here's which one. Here's a couple of them. Choose one, and they'll usually choose one. Everybody loves the lemonade talk. If you hadn't heard me do the lemonade talk, it's out there on YouTube. Everybody loves the competing with Amazon. We'll talk about competing with Amazon, not against Amazon, but competing with Amazon. And then I have just a number of others. Believe it or not, I think it's about 9. I would say about 27, but no. I always tell them, like, I've got a couple, and I know if they're entrepreneurs. Like I'm getting ready to launch, because I've got to do an event, y'all. It's so hard not to do your own self-produced event. And y'all, I'm still looking at a blank page. I'm still looking at a blank page over here in the journal, so I haven't written anything down yet. If you feel like you're missing it, I feel like I'm missing it. You know what? You know what we haven't talked about? Preparation. What? Stay ready. That's it. Stay ready. That's what I'm gonna write down. Stay ready. Even though I had to start each day this week, I've had to restart this broadcast because I wasn't ready. Because it has grown, it has morphed, it has evolved, and we said we wanted to evolve with the season. And each day this week, each day within the last couple of broadcasts, I've had to restart simply because I wasn't ready. And what does ready look like? What is ready? I'm going to write that down so I can answer that question for myself. What is ready? Because for me, EADY, learn how to spell it, okay? Because for me, it's not just having a topic, because the topic, I don't have to have, I have to have a blank. I have to have a blank page. And I have to have taken at least found a moment of gratitude, a moment of clarity, so that I don't have to come on here and just vent and just rant and just say and talk about what's not working. We talk about what is working. I have to have time. Got to have some time. I need time. Okay. If I was thinking about a formula, I have to be ready. Be ready. In fact, I'm not going to say what's ready. Well, yeah, what is ready? Time. How much time? How much time? How much? Right? How much time does it require? My daughter asked me earlier. She was like, wait, you're dressed? I'm like, yeah. I'm dressed already. And then she was like, okay, what are you doing? Right? Remember there was a meme that went last week, and people say, instead of saying, you look nice, they're like, where you going? That's what I got this morning, because I got up and got dressed to do the podcast, as opposed to just lingering around and pushing the button, right? Because this thing is evolving. So time, stay ready. Plan. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. You have to be prepared. And I'm trying to get to being just down here saying prepared. And I can't write this morning. All right. You have to be prepared. You have to be, and confidence comes through there. But there's another thing. I don't want to say proximity and opportunity again, but there's something else to this formula when you talk about stay ready. What is ready? How much time? What's in the plan, and being prepared. There's one more thing to that, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. What's that missing piece of having it all together? Because and it's not, it's like, I'm going to say receptive. Because it's not, because I'm not ready, right? But I'm open. I'm going to put receptive and open. But I'm open. Because when she asked me to present, I didn't say, how much time is it? I didn't ask myself if I was ready. I realized she said next month. Oh, I got 30 days to get ready, right? Even if I didn't have a topic or anything of that in mind, I know that particularly as a woman, we oftentimes will put life on pause. I didn't want to say to her, let me think about it. Oh, well, no. Yes, thank you. Okay, here's what I need. Here's what you need. I always have something to say. What would you like me to talk about? Right? What kind of topic? And she said, and then she came back at me. Well, you just think about what you like to talk about. Just let us know, because then so they can promote it, right? Because they have a calendar, they have promotions. And that's the thing about it is, I know as their presenter, they're going to promote it. A lot of times people will ask you to do stuff or participate in this, or people will put, I saw one event, This person had probably about 10, 15 people on the program. And not one of those people promoted the fact that they were on the thing. And so it came down, it was on one of the reality shows at that. When it came down to the event, they didn't have any ticket sales. And I'm like, hell, there was enough people on the program. If they'd have just sold 2 tickets each, she would have sold out. And I'm like, but that's the nature of how this thing works. You continue to be out there with people who are not about an exchange, who are not about working together, collaborating, and all those kinds of things. So that's why I said, no, that's not even why I say stay ready. That's just something. And I'm that person. When I see something like that, I'm going to borrow that hindsight for my foresight. And while I have said I don't really want to do any events, when I look at what's coming up for this summer, I still see an opportunity. I still see an opportunity there for me to do an event, and I don't think I'm going to have to put a lot to it. It's just that what I have, what I've been invited to, what I have on my calendar and schedule, what you do is you always want to have something that you can then invite people to, So that's because last night they had a moment. Everybody had a moment to talk about their business. I love networking where they don't just want you in the room. It's really about getting referrals. It's really about generating leads, and that's why I love this community, because there's so many things like that. There's also an event first and third Mondays, where entrepreneurs come together, but it's a real entrepreneur community. So on that, but stay ready, and when I say stay ready, that could in turn becomes stagnant, because how can you be ready if something is constantly evolving? Like during this podcast, there's somebody said, hey, listen, I want to play it on my page. I want to play it over here. I want to distribute it. I want to this, that, and the other, right? You can't necessarily be ready for everything, but that's why I wrote down be receptive, because your stay readiness may be just you in your box, in your lane. You haven't thought about, well, maybe you can, have an ancillary over here, or it could be redistributed or repurposed for this, that, and the other. Or a lot of times your people are out there and they're selling this complete package, right? And they don't, I just want like that right there. I just want that. Well, they don't want to break up the set, right? It comes in a set, right? But I remember having this conversation over and over and over and over again with entrepreneurs, where I would always ask them, what are some of the questions that people are asking? Like, say, for instance, for me, when I first started, I was a blogger and everything I had was online. And every day, I felt like I was having to tell somebody, it's only online. It's only online. It's only online. I'm like, wait a minute, and one of my coaches along the way, well, how many times are you having to say that? Maybe it shouldn't just be only online. What happens? What would happen if you make it available offline? Because you know as well as I do, in the numbers and the stats, there are more people still offline than there are online. I don't care how many billions come on here and create profiles and usernames and these platforms say they got this, that, and the other. The majority of their users are still offline. Yeah, everybody coming getting their name on Facebook and on the top 8, and I'm not even going to say the platforms, but everybody's on the top 8s. But is everybody productively using the top 8s? Is everybody learning from the top 8s? Has everybody used the top 8s to improve the quality of their life? I love the fact that I was sharing this police video, and dude was like, Google. He was like, and he told, and mind you, he probably can't type, he probably can't spell, but he knew how to hit that in the presence of those police. He was like, wait, he said, you coming on my property? Let me give you the penal code, because I know you don't went to police academy, but they ain't taught you nothing. And he hit that Google button, and he told that Google button, he said, penal code 38 dash da 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 da, right? And the next thing you know, well, he could read because he was reading it to them. This is so true. More people offline, right? He was reading that penal code to that cop. Them cops were standing there, and the one cop, he knew the one cop because he's in the neighborhood all the time. But here come this other guy. He was like, shoemake. Now, I mean, this is the thing that here was an officer who knew this guy, and they were calling each other by name, and I'm like, and this officer, he was so conflicted in intervening in this situation that it went on to the fact that he finally was able to talk this other officer down from making this grave error and really just taking this thing way too far because it had already gone too far. You are so right. Look at all the millionaires that barely engage on social media. I'm telling you, I run into that all the time. They're still saying, I've got to get on social media. And I heard somebody say this yesterday. I think it was on Sheer Social. SHEER Social. SOCIAL. She comes on Fridays. I'm not sure what time because I always kind of get a notification or stumble on it. But write that down and watch her. She's on Facebook. She does a Facebook Live. She normally has guests. And each week she gives a wonderful summary of where this thing is going. I'm telling you, because I know my lane. My lane is numbers. I can tell you numbers. I can tell you how to brand, how to generate buzz. That's where I start right there, right? As far as, the platforms and the changes on all the platforms, I can't keep up with that and keep up with here's how you're going to convert this person to becoming a lifetime customer. That's all I can tell you. I can tell you how to convert, right? That's what I do. Generate enough buzz to turn your followers into customers. That's my lane, right? Sheer, yes, SHEER Social. She comes on Fridays and she will update you on all of this different tech changes and so forth, right? And she said something. She put the language to something I have been talking about for years, and that is social listening. When I work with companies, organizations, nonprofits, and all that, when they're trying to use social media for business, they always want to know, well, how much do I need to tweet and how much do I said, no, you need to listen. You should have and at the time it was like tweet that you should be watching, you should be extracting data. I always talk about, first and foremost, the internet was created for one reason. It became two. It was created for data. That's it. It was created for data to compete with these reports and polling and all of that kind of stuff. If people had the wherewithal to think, well, there's going to be a time when people are just going to volunteer this information. We don't have to go out there and try to extract it like teeth and so forth and so on. People are going to tell us, people eventually going to just simply tell us what they like, what they dislike. We're just going to be able to extract that data. Social listening, right? So I love that she said that yesterday because I've been trying to figure out how to say it to the businesses and entrepreneurs that I work with. Is not so much, you should have some assets out there that your following can use to make referrals, right? That's all. If you're out here using social media for business, that's all you need to be putting out there is assets for which people can make referrals. It starts there. You're like, what do I say? What's going to get you a referral? What's going to get you a lead? That's all, right? But it should be all about social listening is always part of my scope of work. You have to listen. How are people saying it? What are they saying? What do they need? Because if you don't know what people need, then you don't know what to sell. Then you don't know what to provide, right? Remember, how did I come up with how to get out of bed? Social listening. Because I'm trying to tell people how to go from the audience to the stage. I'm like, here's your opportunity. Here's how to become a success overnight. I tell people how to literally become a success overnight, right? How do you think everybody now knows me about lemonade? I walked into that room last night and everybody's calling me Dryer Buzz. Nobody's calling me Yolanda. Nobody even knew my name for 17 years. But they knew, oh, she's all about buzz. People walk up looking for the red hair. Where's your lunch? I'm letting my hair grow, right? It's two-tone right now. Everybody's like, I'm looking for the red hair. Anybody seen the girl with the red hair? Red hair. Because that's what's on my profile, current profile right now, right? The red hair. Everybody wants to see the red hair. Everybody wants to know about the lemonade. And now what you do, again, listening. I always listen at how people introduce me. I always look for the opportunity where I get to introduce myself because that's an opportunity where whatever lane I want to take over, I can say that. But oftentimes when I go places, I never get a chance to introduce myself because there's somebody that knows me, and I always listen at what they say, because that's the perception of me when I have entered a room. And last night it was all about the kitchen, right? I think you were the reason people called me. Thank you, because let me tell you, last night everybody's saying, yeah, she was a blogger, da da da. But have y'all seen her in the kitchen? Everybody is talking about the kitchen. I've only done the kitchen for a year. I've only been back in the kitchen for a year. Within days of cooking the first thing in the kitchen, walking into the grocery store, somebody says to me, I love your cooking show. I'm like, I don't have a cooking show. I think you are the reason. Is that a bot? No, that's Chelsea. Thank you. So this kid is knocking on the thing. So that is listening. That's what we're gonna do today, y'all. Remember I said stay ready, and I kept saying there's a word and I can't get it. I'm surprised. Ice must be busy over there, because he usually will chime in and help surmise what I'm trying to get to. Listening. That's what stay ready is. Right? Stay ready, but listen, because you work on your proximity to opportunities. But you still, if you're always talking, if you're always doing, if you're never quiet, like people are always surprised how quiet I am when I am out and about, because I'm so vocal on my podcast. I'm so vocal. I'm always talking when I'm in the kitchen. I'm always posting, right? But when I'm out and about, I am listening. Because if you don't listen, how will you hear? Right? Stay ready. What is ready? Time, how much? Plan, prepared, receptive, open, and listening. I'm going to end on that. We're at 26. We're not even at 30. I'm so glad these things I'm trying to reduce them down so that we can get in and get out. I don't have to hold your time. And usually people would kind of cycle through, and so I would then have to reiterate some things. But I want to come in and hit the points and let us get started, because especially on the weekends, because I know everybody has a lot to do. Also, y'all, I started listening to a couple of podcasts, because coming into the kitchen, one, there's a new podcast I'm getting ready to do, and that's on the food, kind of either a pre-talk or after talk, and I'm trying to see how it would most benefit our live stream in the kitchen. But I really want to do a food conversation, because I'm not a chef, because I am simply a home cook. Not simply a home cook, because I was listening to a chef and he was talking about home cooks, and I'm like, man, he took that to a whole other level. And he just talked about the difference between a chef and a home cook is, while they both come up with great food, the home cook is just, they're not trying to cook in the quantity of a chef. And they have, and he the conversation he had about home cook, it made me feel quite proud. So I wanted, pride, we need to talk about that, pride and proud. But that's a part of stay ready, because if you're ready, all you have to do is listen, y'all. All you have to do, if you need to know something, somebody's out there telling you how to do it. Listen. If you need to change something, somebody's telling you how to change it, right? We're not the first. In some things we are. Even if you're the first to do it, it still may comprise some components or some elements of other things. When I came into publishing online and going digital, there were only a couple things out there that I could look to see this is what that is. And it wasn't in the realm of which I was trying to go. So I had to draw off of traditional media in order to do online digital media, right? So where there are some things that people are trying to figure out this space now, here I am, an expert in this space, because I didn't wait to start. I just went ahead and started. Even though we didn't have the platforms, we didn't have the devices, it's like, I'm going to start now. Even in the kitchen, I talked about yesterday, I didn't wait until the kitchen got to where it is today, where people say, oh my God, I love your kitchen. When I first came on, they were probably like, oh, I do not like that kitchen. It's too dark in there. We can't barely see her. The appliances are not matching. But guess what? I was like, look, I'm going to get started. We're going to build as we go. And now everybody's like, oh my God, I love your kitchen. People are like, can you do my kitchen? I'm like, okay, man, is that a business? Again, remember I talked about what are some of the things that people are asking you? What is ready? Stay ready. I said, well, what is ready? What does it mean to be ready? To know, to listen. It means to listen. It means to be receptive. It means to be open. It means to be prepared. It means to have a plan. To know, to have some time. Because somebody can bring to you an opportunity if you don't have time. If you really don't have time. And I think that's the biggest thing we have, like the FOMO, the fear of missing out. A lot of times people feel like they're missing out because they got to go to work, or they got family, or they've got all these other obligations. Most people right now are just simply trying to find time. That's why I came back to, well, here's how we get, if you think about this stuff, right when you get out of bed, you can organize your day a little bit more. Plan it. Even if you have these obligations, know that everybody has those obligations, but people who are doing the thing that they love, or people who are striving in what they want to do, people who are making money, and I don't like to bring in the whole money aspect of this thing, but just people who are out there with their joy, whether they look like they enjoy it or they're not. They are ready. They're just ready for it. It happens when you're ready. It's not going to happen if you're not ready. It's not. Because you're not going to listen. You're not going to hear. You're not going to see it. You're not going to be receptive to it. I can't tell you how many times people say, well, if she asked me last night, can you be our presenter? I'm like, what is next month? Can we do it a couple of months from now? No. I just said, oh, yes. Because I'm going to make time. It's like it's a 20, 15, 30-minute presentation. It's an opportunity. The proximity was there. I already have the conversations. I just need to pick one, pull out the notes, go give the talk, okay? Enjoy the residual of that. Have the next opportunity ready. Well, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It's summertime. People are doing the festival. Maybe I should go ahead and do it. The other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was riding, and I'm like, I don't want to do a boot camp because each season I do some type of event. I did a breakfast event. I've done a boot camp. I've done all those kinds of things. And I was riding the other day, and the word clinic. I was listening to sports. And one of the athletes was on, and he was talking about he was getting ready, because school is out, and I'm already doing an event with the youth in June, a writers workshop that one of the counties has for their youth, and they bring in all these people to encourage these young people to go into writing. And I have a day where I'm supposed to be the presenter and that, right? But I said, you know what? I'm going every day that week. I'm going to work. I'm going to full on volunteer up in that event. I'm going to be there because I really want to encourage these young people. I don't want to just go in on my day and drop them some sound bites and I have a talk already. The talk is already done. I said, but you know what? I'm going each day. Because I know as a presenter, most of those presenters, they're going to arrive when it's time for them to speak and they're going to be out the door. But I want to really impart something in those young people. And I really want to encourage them to build on these platforms and to pivot and really going into what they want to do. So I said, I'm going to make some more time. I'm going to give more time to that than they've asked for. I'm really going to be involved with that. I want to work with these young people each and every day. So I'm going to pitch to them, hey, I want my day, but also give me a little bit of time. And then listen, how many times I tell you, nobody turns down volunteering. If I called them and said, hey, listen, go in within your budget, and get me this, and guess what? I'm going to do it for them for free. But what does free mean? I'm going to fully reimburse each expense. I'm going to fully reimburse expenses elsewhere so that I can give them my time. And you know how I've decided to do that? I have a GoFundMe. If I tell you guys, swipe to the profiles, one of the things that we have said is I want to lend myself to various organizations that are working in our community. But there's an expense to that. Time. There's an expense to that. Some of you are really supporting it. I got some contributions in yesterday. But swipe to that because, like I said, there's an organization today that's having a food drive. They're giving out food today. And of course, I'm probably going to catch the tail end of it if I do get out of here. But I got some other things on. on the calendar that I've got to do. But what I did was I made sure I shared it. I made sure I allowed placement on my platforms to talk about that. And that's the Choices Teaching Kitchen. If you know somebody, and you probably don't know, don't even worry about knowing who needs it. You know somebody that needs it. Share this information. It's on my timeline. If somebody's in Atlanta, there's an area. In fact, that's what happens on Saturdays. I know for me blogging, I usually get out on Saturdays and just kind of ride my neighborhood and do some sharing, just hyper local on the weekend. It's called Drivers in the City. And early Saturday mornings, I would go out because the pantries are out and open on Saturdays. And they can't even distribute all of the food because a lot of times people don't know, because people don't want to share it on their timeline, or they don't want to ask if they need in need. So when you see those things going on in your community, take a picture, post it, okay, and say, hey, listen, for anybody that needs it, I just passed by X food bank or this service or that service. We're at that time of life when people have needs, and you never know who needs. All right. So let me see. That's gonna be. I got a notification. I want to jump on somebody else's broadcast. But today, guys, we just kind of talked about stay ready. What does it mean to be ready? How much time do you need? Like if you're ready, that means that you can go. At what point can you go? Right? If somebody said let's go, how much time do you need to go? I'm gonna write go on that one too. If somebody says, hey, can you go? And then you first thing you do is like, no. But wait, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about in a day, in an hour, in a week, in a month. And when can you go? What's your go? What's your lunch, right? How much of a countdown do you need? When she told me I had a 30-day countdown, I was like, yes. In 30 days, I can get some books ordered. Hell, I could write some books in 30 days. I can go design. I'm like, wait, let me go. I had this clinic idea. Let me go get that clinic. Let me go get that clinic worked out. So when I go and do this presentation, I can invite these people to the clinic. Plan. Have a plan. Always have something planning. Always be prepared. Always be receptive. And always be listening. And on that note, guys, I'm going to thank you guys for listening to me as I talk myself out of bed. Hopefully you're able to grapple and grasp some of these concepts and apply them to your life. And I know you are, because you're giving me amazing feedback. But listen, go back, look through the listeners, look through the followers, and see if you can connect and continue to connect. Let's continue to work this thing out. Listen how I got out of bed today. I did this because of us, y'all. I got up, I got dressed. I'm like, got my lemonade. I'm ready to go. I'm just waiting on my daughter. I'm like, girl, come on, let's go. Let's go out there. There's amazing life going on out there, y'all. Let's just go live it. This has been Dryer Buzz with How to Get Out of Bed, your daily living podcast for living daily. When I hit the stop button, it's going to immediately become audio on your favorite podcast platform. And so if you want to binge on Buzz on whatever platform you saw this or whatever platform you want to go to, I wonder if you put in the hashtag Dryer Buzz, what might you find? Let me know so I can know where you are enjoying all of this. Last comment, blessings always, Yolanda. And listen, I knew Ice was going to put in something over there. All right, thanks, guys. And you remember all the things I need you to do. Let me see where we at here. Let me switch this screen. Look, I didn't even put it up there. There we go. All right, let me put that back. I'm trying to make sure I got all my stuff done, because I need to hit this button and I need to hit this button. All right, tune in.
Go now to DryerBuzz.com and follow @DryerBuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.